it's Rachel here, and welcome to another Top 5 Wednesday video. Now, if you don't know what Top 5 Wednesday is, it is a group that was started by Lainey over at Ginger Reads Lainey, and I will go ahead and leave all the information down below. So, I know it's been a while since I did a Top 5 Wednesday video, but I've been so busy, and I've been filming all these other videos. June has some really great topics, and although I've already missed the first topic, which was characters that you wish you could be more like, there are still 3 other topics that I can do this month. So, this week is going to be the top 5 books that you struggled to finish. The list that I have compiled is going to be not only books that I struggled to finish because they were just simply not my taste, I did not enjoy them, but also books that I did not finish, that I struggled to finish simply because of the emotional toll that had been taken on my poor body. Without further ado, I'll go ahead and get started. Also, these books are not going to be in any particular order. I'm just going to be pick them up as they are. So, the first book I struggled to finish was City of Bones by Cassandra Clare. I don't think any of you is going to be any surprise that I have this in my list. This took me well over a year to read. Like, well over a year to read. And the only reason I read it was because I participated and hosted a read-along, the Mortal Instruments series, and it took me a really long time to finish this. It's super fast-paced, but it took me so long to get into it because I do not like the characters in this book. I have obtained all of the books in the series, including City of Heavenly Fire, so I'm going to be continuing with the series, but I really struggled to finish this book simply because I did not enjoy the characters. The second book is going to be a book called The Colony by A.J. Calusi. I got this as like a guilty pleasure type of read off of Book Outlet. So pretty much essentially what is this book about? This is pretty much a book about killer ants, like genetically modified killer ants. And I saw it and I was like, oh dude, that's super awesome. Ants killing people, that sounds awesome. And so I picked it up. It's really short. I read it in a day, but I struggled to finish it because I couldn't stop laughing at the absurdity of it, if that makes sense. Like, it really is so absurd. The things that happen in this book, I'm just like, oh my god, that is so impossible. But it was really interesting because that the author came up with this world. But I struggled to finish this book simply because of the absurdity of it. Number 3 is going to be Endurance by Jack Kilborn. Now, if you have heard this book or if you've heard of this author, you know that he writes horror books. And when I say horror, I really mean terror, gory, just sickening books. That's the best way I can describe it. Pretty much, Endurance is a whole about several different characters who go to this Iron Woman's type of race, and they go and they end up they go to a hotel, and the hotel ends up being full, so they have to go to a different hotel that is kind of deeper in the woods. They get to this hotel and they automatically see that it's really creepy, that the entire hotel is filled with presidential artifacts, presidential pictures, all kinds of presidential type of things, and that the owner of the establishment is obsessed with all kinds of presidential things and blood. And that is the most that I will say about that book. But this book is, I have literally no other words than to say that this book is fucked up. I struggled to finish this book because of how disgusting it was. This book goes straight for the shock factor. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I mean, this book goes automatically for your, like, reflexes. Like, it is just sick, and it took me months to finish it because of how sick it was. Now, don't get me wrong, I think this book could have been executed a lot better, but I think Jack Kilborn is the type of author for this type of book that goes for that shock factor. So, if you'd like more information on that book, comment down below and let me know. But like I said, I struggled to finish that book because of how sickening it was. Plain and simple. The fourth book on this list is going to be The Forest of Hands and Teeth by Carrie Ryan. I do not have this book to show because I sold it. I hated it that much. I struggled to finish it because of how stupid it was. As you all know, I love zombies. I love any kind of zombie type thing. So when I read this book was about zombies, naturally I needed it in my life, and so I went and purchased it. But let me tell you people right now, this book has nothing to do with zombies. And I'm not talking, this is not a test zombies where the book is about the characters and not about the zombies. I'm talking this book is supposed to be about the forest of hands and teeth, but it has freaking nothing to do with that. Like, this book is the struggle of a girl who is in love with a guy that she doesn't even tell us why she's in love with him, other than the fact that she's in love with him and that he is betrothed to someone else and she is betrothed to, it's just fucking stupid. I'm sorry to those of you who like the forest of hands and teeth, but it was just so awful. Like, I struggled to finish it because I could not for the life of me understand why the main character was in love with the guy, and I think the guy's name was Travis. I can't even remember the name of the main character. It was so flippin' bad, and I couldn't finish the book. I struggled, really struggled with it just because it was so terrible. That's the best that I could say for that. So yeah. And finally, the fifth book that I struggled to finish is going to be This Star Won't Go Out by Esther Earl, with the foreword by John Green. Now, this one I struggled to finish because I couldn't stop crying. I had to put that book down several times because I had to get it together. I just couldn't. I just couldn't. So pretty much this story is about Esther Earl, her life. She was a nerd fighter that passed away of cancer a couple of years ago, and this is pretty much her memoir, stories of her life, journal posts that she has done, pictures that she had written, stories that she had written. It also includes excerpts from her parents, her sister, John Green. It broke my heart, mostly because she does pass away, and I struggled to finish it because I could not contain the tears. I cried many times reading this book just because of how unfair the world is, and you know, and how unfair life is. And I tabbed it a lot of times. Most of the tabs are from the father in the story, or the father in the book, because of how the father feels as far as the fact that his daughter is dying and there's nothing that he can do about it. And it's just a heartbreaking story, and I cried like a baby, and that's why I struggled to finish it. Those are the 5 books that I struggled to finish for one reason or another. If you have done a top 5 Wednesday video, please go ahead and link it down below, or let me know some of the books that you struggled to finish. Other than that, I will talk to you guys in my next video. Have a good one. Bye!